So when we are done here tonight, we'll be back at the weekend. 2 more days of live streaming from the Caribbean. Sunday the 13th, it's the main event, and then on Monday the 14th, it's the 25K high roller. Both those final tables will be whole cards up. Both start at 2 p.m. Eastern.
And we'll be on the similar 40-minute delay with those as well.
And they will be streamed via the PokerStars TV mobile app, as will all future streams, including every single day of EPT Deauville. It's the next leg of the European Poker Tour, kicking off at the beginning of February. February 3rd, to be precise.
And James, if I wanted to get those apps, where would I go?
Well, obviously, you could go to the App Store, or is it the Google Marketplace?
The Google Play is what it's called.
That's what it's called, right. Or, alternatively, if you follow PokerStars on Twitter, there were links posted earlier on today where you can download the latest versions of those apps. And in addition to the live streams, you've also got all of the archive programming as well, all the TV shows, EPT, PCA.
I'm sure Googling PokerStars.tv app would get the job done quite nicely. The dealer's gotten very good. She called that bet, even though Doc splashed it down.
We try and have the best dealers.
You know what we do? The PCA has got the best dealers and the best floor staff in the business. It's considered basically the best gig in the whole business. Now that's an interesting card right there. Look at that. He decided that was no ace that Doc had.
Yeah.
David Fold. Scott will win this spot.
So, James, you were telling us that having the lipstick cams makes it cool so we can actually see the shot.
It's
we
about,
don't.
Well, no, but
we could.
We could potentially, and most players do still show their cards to the camera. Now, I appreciate that for a live stream, there will be cards missed, and it can be frustrating, and there's a very strong argument for RFID. But what's our primary purpose here? Our primary purpose is to make really good, highly produced TV shows. And for that, the whole card cameras add a certain value, which I still think is worth having. You can also get shots across the table at the other players. You can use the whole card cameras to get table views as well and capture some of the table chat.
It looks like there's a 3-bet coming. Seaver has raised.
For what it's worth, and I want to speak a little bit about the frustration that we've heard voiced, or some would say vented, by Dr. Sands and Mr. Seaver over the course of the last half hour, and I want to kind of address that. But let's just see how this hand plays out first.
Right, because if there's a brutal suck out, we're only going to chastise one of them.
The point I would make is it concerns me slightly that there is this growing annoyance amongst certain poker players about the inconvenience of being on TV. And I understand that it's different being on a TV table. I understand that we have certain requirements of the players, not just at the table, but to do interviews and certain shots afterwards. But guys, please don't bite the hand that feeds you, because as we keep saying, these tournaments wouldn't exist if the cameras weren't there.
Now, I've been very pro TV during this broadcast, and I will say that some of the player complaints, some of the time, are valid, and I understand, especially when players are asked to come in early, or if things change around and it sort of in general inconveniences their lives. I can see some validity to those complaints. But as far as like, hey, we need you to show your cards to the camera, or can you move a little bit? This is stuff that's like not really that difficult. It's not a plate on you. And ultimately, I guess what it comes down to is like, no one's got a gun to your head to play this game.
Well, the other thing is, is that I'm gonna sound like the old fart in the crowd, okay? But mostly because I am an old fart. But if you were in this business 15, 20, 25 years ago, there was no money in it. There was no glamour. There was none of this. And the reason is because there wasn't all this stuff, right? And so TV, I mean, if you've seen the old TV shows, they're terrible. They're awful. And these guys, as you say, are living off the trough of all the money that TV and the internet has brought in. So frankly, I guess I'm the same. Don't have much patience with, you're making me move 6 inches to the right. Or for that matter, you're making me show up at 11 a.m.
Let's just see how this hand plays out.
6 of spades, got checks.
Doc Sands min-raised pre. He continues for 340,000, and Scott check called. And Scott's checked a second time on the turn, and now Doc Sands checks behind.
I think he's going to snap call any bet that Doc makes that's in a sane range.
Sure, you can't fold. Doc raised pre-flop. You don't have to have an ace to raise. Heads up, far from it. There are some other funky hands he could have ended up backdooring here, but still with second pair.
No, it's not Elke. He didn't backdoor some funky hand. Oh, look at this.
He's certainly counting out his
Yeah.
chips specifically for this bet. Well, it's not a snap call, right?
900.
Wow, Scott folds.
20,000.
Wow.
20,000. Scott folds.
The doctor had an ace.
Did have an ace and rivered the 7 as well. Good job, Scott Seaver. That's why you're there.
And Joe and I
we're
are
all
watching.
here. Scott did
What you got,
mention
Scott?
right before they got to heads up that he did pick up at least one physical tell on Doc Sands. Maybe he's got more.
Looks like 4-7.
Thank you.
By the way, quite a lot of people on Twitter suggesting that we could have RFID and hole card cameras. Do you think anyone's going to show their cards to the camera if they know they don't have to?
We could not tell them.
We might just have to start playing with a completely
320.
opaque table. Is that the right word?
That table is opaque. You mean
The
transparent?
opposite. That's the one.
There we go.
An unopaque table.
You're an English major, is that right?
Yeah. After 8 hours of commentary, I start having a hard time remembering words like card and raise. But yeah, just a glass table.
You know, some of the TV technology we've seen did just exactly that. It was like a little glass plate.
Dan Shack, the first to go out today. Then Troyanovsky bit the dust. Next out, Greg Jensen. Oh, Phil Gruesome, one of our favorites, one of the good ones. He went out next. Then your boy, Kerry Katz, takes a hike. We were four-handed forever. Nick Schulman was the next to go. Shoved in the 210s, couldn't get there. And then there were two. Thanks for letting me handle that, James.
So it was about time you did some work.
You know what? You did nail it though. I mean, that was really awesome.
Thanks, Lee. Lee, I just want to take you around in my personal life so you can just pump me up. Tell me what a great job. Joe, you woke up out of bed today like you were awesome at it. You tied your shoes nearly perfectly, Joe. Now get out there
which
and
is
face the
impressive
day.
considering you're wearing loafers.
My mom says she can't trust me with laces anymore.
You know how it is.
and
Does that look really
188.
uncomfortable?
Scott Seaver has some of my my favorite poses at the table. That's one of them. He did one for a while where he would cup his hands around his nose and mouth for a while. He does, like I mentioned before, he has this nice little silent scream.
A silent scream,
does
kind
this
of
thing,
like
it's
the
like a-
Edward Munch thing.
It's like a half yawn, but it's way too fast and he doesn't inhale at all. Maybe I'll do it again and I'll point it out to you guys. Typically when he loses a pot. Of course, there was the, as I already mentioned, the famous scalp and beard massage he received in Barcelona.
At the final table.
At the feature table.
Nice.
850.
850.
Re-raises makes it a total of 850,000. Hold. What's got full in this box?
Is that our first 3-bet?
No, he raised 10-7 and Doc 3-bet him when he let it go.
With his 2 blue cards.
It turned out to be 5-3 of diamonds, actually.
So still not too much movement in these stacks. Doc Sands still
320.
hovering around the 10 million mark, actually around 9 million at the moment. Scott Seaver on around 5 million.
Scott seems to be pretty consistently raising his button. Looks like we're about to see another 3-bet. He just pulls his chips back and folds. It'll be a new one.
That's the other option.
I'm good, actually. I'm good. I'm just gonna take these back, and you can have the cards. Call it even.
Wow, wow.
Re-raise. A total of 840,000.
Thank you.
Hold.
James is
Yeah, I was
engaging
gonna say,
someone on
personally,
Twitter.
I'm glad you did that, but I wonder, like, do you think the dealers are supposed to right there?
Well, we know
I think
Doc
that's
was
good. I think,
3-betting
like,
with
they
at
should.
least an ace.
I've never really seen it before.
I mean, I think they should. Stops angles. I think it's really good, but I just don't know if they should. I'm very pro them doing that. I think that's a very good thing.
What do we know what he's talking about?
I do not. I would think that Doc may be the one with the slight edge heads up, considering he can just wear out his opponents.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's just easier to do it after.
he had an ace.
You want to do that? I'm fine with it.
Yeah, it's just so much easier.
Okay.
Toast the antes in the middle.
Yeah,
'cause-
both the big and the
but then
small
just-
after.
Yeah, yeah.
Done.
It's so much easier.
I agree.
Still plenty of spectators on the rail here in the Atlantis Poker Room. Still plenty of people railing at home around the world watching this to its bitter conclusion.
It's worth it to be on the rail when your guy wins $2 million. Typically, at least a couple of drinks happen afterward.
320.
Yeah, but a lot of these people probably don't even have a guy. I mean, they're just digging the action.
I'm usually just digging the bottle service. I don't care who's buying.
Hold. Got full in this box.
I haven't been keeping track, but James pointed out that there's been Scott is raising virtually every button. You guys watch, like, has he let a button go or?
I think there's been one or two that he hasn't raised, but yeah, he's been pretty consistent about it. which is what you're supposed to do, heads up.
You know, we had a brief view out to the tournament floor, and I don't know if you guys have gotten any views out across the expanse of the PCA tournament floor, but if you have not seen it, folks, we are seeing a little tiny corner of an epically large tournament area. I mean, it's just mind-blowing when you first walk in there.
A vast room currently housing day 1A of the PCA
Of the main
event.
event, that's right.
Follow the action on the PokerStars blog. Live updates from that tournament.
That makes the call.
Daniel has a question about David Sands. Is he actually a doctor or is it just a
about 4 or
nickname?
5 behind.
Greetings from Hungary. As far as we're aware, he has no formal medical
4-9.
qualification.
Thanks.
Well, Scott's missed completely. Doc whiffed at least one of his cards.
Checks as well. The deuce stems, got checks.
Well, Doc for sure in front. I heard he just named himself after his favorite dwarf.
That's 390,000. Scott Holt, David will win the spot.
Doc Sands bangs another medium pot. B-back's out in the field playing day 1A. So
That's
next
right.
to Justin Bonomo. And that last shot we saw before, I saw Joe Cata out there.
I'll say hello to one of our regular viewers down under. Dina says it's a very hot day here in Sydney, and guess what I'm doing? Listening to the beautiful voices of yours. Hope you had fun today, guys.
Thanks, Adina. We did. We hope you had fun, though. We're here for you.
Raise next to 320,000.
A reminder, we'll be back on Sunday with Cards Up coverage of the main event. Got Krishnan on Twitter asking why the Super High Roller comes before the main event and the Standard High Roller then comes after the main event.
It's the magic of Mike Ward's tournament scheduling algorithm.
Does he generally have an algorithm, or does he just go, do you know what, whatever?
No, I think a great deal of thought and analysis goes into it, but it's at levels far beyond my understanding. Now this is interesting.
If you think about it, the guys with the most money to burn come in first. They can afford to stay in the hotel for 3 or 4 extra nights.
Pay $40.95 for a banana.
And they can stay a couple extra nights on the end, too. You're a high roller, prove it. Forget the fact that the rooms are probably comped. Top pair, very
Was
good.
James, Doc is drinking tea. That probably just warms the cockles of your heart, doesn't it?
Not just any old tea, but tea with honey.
Is that better or worse, or I mean, it's not a British thing to put honey in tea, is it?
No, it's not.
I was gonna say.
Certainly is a different game from the days of vodka and chain smoking at the table.
Exactly.
Tea and gluten-free snacks.
Raise makes it 320,000.
Well, Scott Severs seems to be showing his whole cards.
It's a very different game in which he's defending out of position with 10-6 offsuit. Right?
Not a bad flop at all
No,
for
no,
Scott.
you know, that's about as good as a 10-6 can flop.
Second pair somehow and a decent
Moderately
flush draw.
decent hey, heads up, that's a big flush draw. If Doc has any of this, we could see some fireworks. Even if it doesn't, we may see fireworks, but they'll be on the screen in the back.
370,000.
It's about half the pot.
Scott calls.
Certainly never folding there.
Queen of spades, and Scott will check.
His hand has not improved. Let's see if Sands keeps his foot on the gas.
And there's a diamond on the river.
Yahtzee! Wow. Obviously, I am approximately 2 orders of magnitude worse poker player than Scott is, but I would have bet that 10.
You know, there's reasons for not betting it. It's that, you know, you can get him to bet all his hands that aren't diamonds, where he needs to have a pretty decent hand to call you. And some of those hands are going to be beating you.
I just feel like he gets a lot of value from smaller singleton diamonds.
Once again, Siva narrowing the gap. 6 million plays 8.8 million. And just to remind you of the stakes here, the runner-up in this tournament will collect 1.259 million. The winner
Which is
will
not
get
a number, no, not a number that you associate with runners up, right?
Precisely. The winner, however, more than $2 million. And remember, they were talking about a potential deal, but no deal was struck, so they're playing for the advertised payouts.
320.
320.
Remember, Siva felt that he had a decent edge heads up. And although Doc Sands has the chip lead, it's not as strong as it once was. Pocket three's on the button for Scott. He's raising. Once again, we're sweating with Scott because Doc Sands... Oh, no, he has shown his cards for
Hot
once.
diggity.
We've got a race situation developing if all 5 cards are dealt out.
Wow, it stopped being a race.
Pretty ugly flop for 2 threes.
Check.
Check, check. Ace of hearts on the turn. Sands holds the only heart. He's starting to like his hand probably more and more. Pretty tough for either guy to get value here. Looks like Doc's gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Insta-fold.
I was kind of wondering because I wasn't sure what he could get called by that he was beating, but
Nigel on Twitter says, great work on the stream, lads. Ask Stapes how he enjoyed his recent trip to Dublin, please.
I love Dublin. I had a great time in Dublin.
Thought I heard doggy dog. Oh, yeah.
I went there for what's known as Arthur's Day, which is the day they
By
celebrate
anyone
the
in this
invention
country
of Guinness.
Match spot. Oh,
And
Ashton's
it's
down here.
basically
Wait, never
mass
mind.
hysteria in the
Second
streets.
most hard in the
Mumford &
country.
Sons played a bar I could not get into,
You gotta be
unfortunately,
kidding me.
because the line was wrapped around the block.
That's twice. That's twice. I've been
But
walked twice
yeah,
with
it's
ace, ace,
559 to symbolize the year 1759. There's this huge toast, and basically drunkenness ensues for the length of the
That's
weekend.
ridiculous.
When I was suited both times. No, I'm kidding. I won't lie to you.
It's pretty much a typical weekend for me.
I mean, I'm trying to think like, how many hands?
Or
how many
weekday.
buttons- how many hands has it been? Like
Or
20
morning.
aside? Not even, right?
I only fold when you have aces.
Yeah, I'm saying
folded
I've got,
one time you
the
didn't
point is
have
I've gotten aces dealt twice to me in like 30 hands.
Is that
That's
good?
awesome.
I haven't run the math, but that sounds like a lot.
I mean, we don't run the math, but
it does sound
we
like a
know
lot.
it's pretty sweet. Wow. On the one
Run the
hand,
math.
I
Nerd
guess I
alert.
can't lose because I'm gonna get aces every time,
Yeah.
but it's gonna take a long time. 320. Oh, that is so sick.
Now this is a not hand. Seaver's been raising a lot of hands that he basically snap folds when Doc 3 bets. He's not going to snap fold here.
This is one you cannot ditch.
How much?
Re-raise, total 840, 860,000.
Well, let's see a flop.
Seaver calling in position.
Oh, I thought you said 40. Sorry.
How much you have behind?
4-8.
Thanks.
Flop is 4 cards, 8 of clubs, 5 of diamonds.
Nothing for Scott.
Check's good.
Check, check.
So disappointing when you have a hand that just looks so good.
And then it just completely whiffs.
Yep.
You know, that's the first time I said it, I've heard him say anything like check's good.
That's 1.1 million.
Right there. That is a bluff.
He could literally have the best hand there.
He could, but I don't think he wants to get called.
No, we saw a 3 and a something.
So now it's
I have a
6.6
feeling we're
million,
gonna
plays
get aces this
8.2.
No, I'm probably
Closing that
lucky.
gap a little bit.
Graham
The
asked an
sick part
interesting
is,
question.
That means whenever you don't block me, you can take aces out of my range. So you know I can never get dealt aces. And that's
is
really
nice
the
to
sick.
know.
That's the sick part.
It's very good to know.
This is Graham's question on Twitter. If Scott Seaver wins the Super High Roller, will it count as an EPT title and make him a Triple Crown winner? No, because we only count EPT main events. So the PCA main event would be an EPT title. This isn't. This is officially a side event, even though it's a very expensive side event.
Although he will be able to buy all the crowns he wants with $2 million.
There's that.
Raise, makes it 320,000.
How many Triple Crown winners are there now? It's like 3?
No, there's more. I want to say 6.
Really, that many? Wow.
All right, we got Elke. We've got the most recent one, who is our Belgian friend, Davide Katai.
Gavin Griffin?
How much?
We've got Gavin Griffin. We've
40?
got Roland
Quarter. I
DeWolf.
was like, I see. I was like, I don't even know how it could be 40.
We've got,
for-
what's that? It's 4 right
At
there.
least that one makes sense.
Sorry, I
forgot
tuned out
green.
for a second. Who did you list
Triple
already?
Crown winners.
Chuck.
Gavin, Elke,
Roland,
Roland,
Davide Katai,
yeah,
Queen of Hearts, King of
Jake
Diamonds,
Cody.
Jake Cody.
Jake
That's
Cody.
5.
Tweet us at PCALive if we've missed, not at pound PCALive if we've missed one.
Pound PCA Live. You don't want to use the pound sign. You want to use a hashtag.
Oh, my bad.
It's # PCA Live.
Chuck.
Jack of Diamonds, got checks.
We don't know Doc's other card, but we know pair of sevens is no good.
I heard
Richard
that clip.
Dreyfuss in Goodbye Girl. Like, what if he'd broken his neck right there? What's the ruling?
Boy, I don't know. I mean, Doc gets to play in it with a boot on his foot. Assume we could get some kind of halo in for Seaver.
440.
Scott laid down second pair.
Is he really
Before.
thinking about it here, or is he Hollywooding for us?
Sometimes this hand's going to be good.
Who's the guy standing next to Ike?
That is Steve O'Dwyer.
Is that Steve O'Dwyer? I didn't realize he was that big, or maybe Ike's that small.
Bit from column A, bit from column B.
Jeez, tug your ear for the number of times for each card.
Fox hands with two pair there.
So we've almost had 200 hands now at the final table. This next hand will be hand number 199.
It's a far cry from the way things started off today, eh, James? Losing 3 players in the first 7 hands.
Scott, can I get an update just because my eyes are bad?
Yeah. Just over 6'2".
Or you could take off the sunglasses.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, we're tossing the antes in, but
Please, Lee
just,
Jones.
You know,
Let's leave logic and reason out of
make it
this.
easier and everything. Yeah, exactly.
Well, these guys have had enough.
Yeah, really.
That's heads up poker for you, kids. It looks like their chip stacks are right about where they started.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sean.
And we just had the blinds levels change. 100, 200,
That'll be
1,000 that is.
So I was,
30,000 ante.
4.
and so now let's see, and we have 41 and 31 blinds, respectively.
Scott Seaver with the wired pair.
Thank you, Vince.
I was hoping you'd get that reference.
I thought you were going to be here the whole way down. Luckily, you've left every now and then.
I was
Been able
actually
to do the
talking
damage
with
while
this
you're
dealer,
gone.
Sean Harris, during the break. Really cool guy, and he's got biceps
Now look, your first
like a
hand,
defensive tackle.
Got biceps for days, Sean the dealer. It's from all that pitching. Pitching and raking,
You're the
pushing
man, Sean.
pots.
Especially after dealing me this. I'm all
That's a 3-bet. An all-in from Seaver.
Call.
And a call from Sands.
All in call.
All in and call?
That
Whoa.
tens, he has nines. Yeah.
Seaver shows the 9s.
All in.
See, Sean, this is what you do to me. Hey, man. Sean, this is what you do to me.
This could be it for
You
Scott.
give me all the bad cards, and then you make
He's
up
the
for
player
it
at
in the last
risk.
hand. You just make
And
up
he's
for it in the last
behind.
hand. It's fantastic.
Doc Sands at pocket
I'll
10s.
take a queen, jack flop.
Scott Seaver,
Queen, jack.
a 4-1 underdog. Doc Sands, a 4-1 on
Queen, jack
favorite
seems really fair.
to win this
I'm not
tournament.
asked- and I won't even call for other cards if I get it.
He's yawning. He's frigging yawning.
That's what I mean. That was almost a silent scream,
This would
except
be
he made
so
a noise.
exciting.
It's not a full yawn. I don't know
As
what it
JC
is.
says, 9s are the card that make the most sense.
There's a 9 in the door. Top set for Seaver. He moves in front. And now he's set for a double up through Doc Sands, which would give Seaver the monster chip lead and see Sands trailing with just 2.3 million.
Whoa, that's the most terrifying thing I've ever heard said by a rail. That's classic Aguiars.
Blinds are 100, 200.
Yeah,
Sands
John,
will be
I'm
left with
actually
just
gonna
11
punch
big
you.
blinds.
Like, not like fake punch. Real punch.
I feel like I'm still gonna win.
I wanted queen, jack. It's good. I also feel like I'm still gonna win, which is why I thought it'd be a chop, but there's no chops possible now, so that's weird. I guess just one of us is wrong, but
You binked your 9. Shh.
I knew that Sean was gonna make it up to me. He's owed
Sands,
me a lot of these over the past like 2 years.
Sands needs a 10 on the river to win the title here and
He's
now.
personally knocked me out of 2 FTs at the World Series. But not like I'm keeping track or anything. Not like I'm keeping track.
Do you think he's a little bit manic at this point?
He just can't stop talking.
No, I wasn't.
The river is not a 10.
1,
Scott
2,
Seaver
3,
gets the
4,
monster double up.
5,
Scott Seaver takes the big
7,
chip
8,
lead.
8,
Doc Sands left with just
6
11
million.
bigs.
And when he said he had an advantage heads up, he meant
Now.
in flopping
6-1.
sets.
I'm willing to give him the
6-2.
55% edge now.
6-2-20.
A huge flop for Seaver.
I was gonna say, I don't know if JC Alvarado is here. I don't know, because he's the one that has always said 9s make the most sets. We've been saying that. Hugo.
Are those red 9s?
Yeah, they're red 9s.
Is that the hand that Phil Hellmuth won the main event with?
I wouldn't actually know that. Yeah, you're one of the worst railers of all time.
And who knew that there was a contest for that?
I think it's 6-2-20.
6-2,
Okay.
6-2-20, yeah. 6,220,000. I'm rolling the stats down for you.
I find the hijinks entertaining. However, when I suck out on a guy, I get real quiet.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to just like sit there quietly and
Oh
collect the
my
chips.
God, I have Timex here? He must be rooting for like double KO. I trust you guys. Come on.
Oh, wait, I got dirty stack.
Oh, sorry.
Big crowd building now. And Scott Seaver
They smell blood in the water.
on the verge of victory, really. Can he close
That
it
was
out now in the next few
absolutely the
hands?
dumbest thing ever, Doc. I'm sorry.
It's all right, man. This is his, right? I didn't touch what was in front. Okay.
Doc looking a little flush.
How much you got left?
Not much.
Bits and bobs, as you would say.
Oh yeah.
Slightly more than 12 big blinds. Awfully dour prognosis for Doc.
How much you got, Doc?
It's actually 11
Oh, sorry.
exactly.
It's all right.
Wow. Timex has gone to a much more kind of adult
225.
hairstyle.
225. Okay. 11 bigs.
And so they play on. That was hand 199. This will be hand number 200 of the final table. Can Sands recover?
Little Maria Ho cameo.
Well, he gives Scott Seaver a walk on the first hand after that huge coup for Seaver.
Yeah, sure.
She saw him double up to 12.6 million.
Okay, perfect.
I don't think I could put my hand in that position. I think it would like break if I tried.
Yeah. Okay.
Small, big minus 2. I got his Annie already.
You got my Annie?
No, mine. He
I got
kept
his.
it from the previous
I left
pot.
it in the pot.
If you were carrying around a brain that big, you might have to
Yeah, you know-
enlist in the help of your
Let's put the
wrist
blinds in from
as
now
well.
on. Maybe change my luck.
Sure.
Well, you don't have to, but I'm gonna.
I mean, they dealt me just ridiculous run of cards so far. I mean, just lots of big pairs for 30 frickin' hands of heads up.
Interesting. He didn't say anything. He's been saying the raise size when he put it in.
Detective Lee Jones is on the case.
Oh, he just flat called on the button.
That might be why he didn't announce a raise.
Yeah, that explains a lot. I was just I think first time we've seen him flat call the button.
More chips for the chip leader.
Chipping away.
Doc Sands now with fewer than 10 big blinds. And that's the trophy that will be presented to the winner. Right now, you'd imagine that it's Scott Seaver's name that will be etched on that trophy.
I just can't imagine Doc letting himself drop down too far below this, right? I mean, he's not going to go like Kerry Katz did.
The money is going in soon. That's for sure.
All in. Call.
Is it call?
All in and a
Boom,
call.
boom. Nice read, Joe.
Scott Seaver with ace-7. And king 4 the hand for Doc Sands. So Seaver in front and on the verge of victory. Doc Sands does have 2 live cards. He has 36% equity.
Turns out Scott Seaver is the 64% favorite, heads up.
Exactly.
This could be it. If the ace-7 holds, it's over, and we have a champion here in the Bahamas tonight. The flop is all diamonds, and Doc Sands is the only player with a diamond in his hand.
Jack of diamonds.
Picks up a
Sure,
bunch
let's
more
start with
outs.
the
Chop it up.
Start with the six.
Oh yeah, that's what he's
only
saying.
he can
Scott
win
is
both
saying
at the
2
same
big
time.
diamonds come in it, and it counterfeits Doc Singleton.
Let Ben color squeeze these.
He could just sweat no diamonds.
Like the 9 of hearts. So any king, any 4, any diamond. That's what Doc Sands needs.
Or he's just going to walk out of here with $1.2 million. What a bummer.
The river is the 3 of hearts.
And we're
it is
all
over.
done.
Scott Seaver has won this year's 100K Super High Roller at the PCA. Doc Sands, who came in as the chip leader, the overwhelming chip leader, and was the favorite to take the title, has to settle for the runners-up spot and $1.259 million. Seaver will collect more than $2 million, and he will lift that trophy.
I didn't know like you could actually pink those. Yeah, every once in a while. I didn't know those were pinkable at all. Well, yeah, that was sick.
That was the intent.
Nice work,
It's all thanks to you. I took everything I learned losing from you to do this.
Good job, man.
Thank you, thank you. Oh my God, yeah, I'm really good at pinking sets.
So we're gonna go celebrate at Atlas or what?
No such thing.
No, Atlas is no. They haven't exist anymore. What can you do?
Most of these guys, I imagine, Lee, are going to be playing the PCA main event tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't imagine the celebrations will go too late.
And the other thing is, wherever you're going to celebrate, guys, don't announce it over the interwebs, right?
3-bet him with nothing like 5 fucking times. And he finally has 9. So sick. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Where's Cheese?
All right, buddy.
Thanks for the rail. Yeah. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Dave. I'll give you a handshake. Try to do better next time.
Just remember, people, that's a guy who just won $1 million.
He'll limp away with that prize money. We hope the foot rests and gets better soon, Doc.
Yeah, but
Like, for $1 million, can you get a pair of crutches? I mean,
I won with 20. What the fuck? I won with 20.
That's exactly what we said. We were saying, like, even Eric, we were like,
Thank you, thank you.
yeah, even Eric, we were like, well,
So a quick reminder that once this broadcast is finished, we will return on Sunday, the 13th of January. Live coverage of the main event final table, the 10K main event, will commence at 2 Eastern on January the 13th, and then the day after, Monday the 14th, you can watch the final of the 25K high roller. As far as the 100K super high roller is concerned, here's how it finished. 3 quick eliminations in the first 6 hands: Shaq, Troinovsky, Jensen. Then we played 5-handed for a while. Gruesome went out. We were 4-handed forever. And then Kerry Katz went out in 4th. Shulman in third. We went heads up between Sands and Seaver. They discussed a deal, but no deal was done. They played for it all, and Scott Seaver was the player who came out on top. A big double up, his 9s cracking Doc Sands' 10s, and then Seaver sealed the deal. And he is the latest Super High Roller champion here at the 10th PokerStars.net Caribbean Adventure. Let's hear from our winner. He's down on the floor with Stapes.
Scott Seaver, let's take it back to earlier in the tournament. There was less 3 and 4 betting than you would have expected, especially light. What was that about?
I just feel this final table had a lot of very strong players all the way through into the end, and people were just trying to play a lot of pots and trying to feel each other out and play post-flop and see what developed.
A little more cautiously than usual. You're down to 750K at one point. How did you stay mentally composed?
It really helped getting dealt aces a lot. It's pretty easy to maintain your composure that whenever you get short stacked, they give you aces and other people go all in. So I didn't really have to work at it at all. The cards really helped me out with that.
So there was no distinct strategy in the comeback?
No distinct strategy at all. Make big hands, get lucky, and it worked.
How did you feel every time Kerry Katz managed to double up?
That was the only time where I felt I was getting a little bit frustrated because there was a lot of all-ins and I love carry, but here I am trying to sweat this as a very short stack, but it all worked out.
All right, just one last question. 55% favorite heads up, really, or is that a negotiation tactic?
No idea what you're talking about.
When you were telling Doc here that you were the 55% favorite, heads up against him.
Poker's 90% mental.
There you have it, guys. Let's get a big round of applause for our PCA 10 Super High Roller champion, Scott Seaver.
And I imagine the translation there, Lee, is that yes, it was a negotiating tactic.
I think that's exactly what it is. He said I was trying to play head games with him, right?
So a reminder of how it finished here in the Bahamas. We're going to go back to the floor in just a moment for the official winners presentation. Don't forget, we will be back Sunday, Monday with more live streaming right here from the Atlantis Resort.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, let's enjoy it.
Yeah.
Welcome to the winner's ceremony of the 2013 PCA Super High Roller event. We're here with the champion. He is 27 years old, lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and will walk away with $2,003,480. Let's give it up for Scott Seaver.
Thank you.
Make some noise.
Very nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Should I? Okay.
Well, the Super High Roller has come to the end here on PCA 2013. It's a very special win, Scott Seaver. Not only he has won the $100,000 buy-in, but he has topped, if not one of the most exclusive fields ever assembled for a live poker tournament. The top elite poker players of the world were here, and you end up winning. But also there is something else that makes this very special, because it's 10 years of history of PCA, the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. You'll be down in the books as the winner of the Super High Roller on the biggest field ever for a $100,000 buy-in, but also as the winner of the 10th anniversary. We hope that more memorable moments will come in in the year 11, 12, 13, and many more to come. We hope to see you here again. And everybody back to the PokerStars Caribbean Adventure. In behalf of PokerStars.com, our sponsors, our partners, thank you to all the players for being here, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. See, that was easy.
Yeah, it's not that difficult. It's nice to say good things.
Yeah.
David Carrion, the PCA president, congratulating Scott Seaver on his win. Lee Jones, has been an absolute pleasure having you here today.
It's almost like you did.
Yeah.
Lee said, you're welcome.
Sometimes you just know.
Yeah.
And Stapes, we're going to do it all again at the weekend.
I can't wait.
And we'll have more free rolls for you. I'm sure we'll have more competitions for you with no prizes, of course, because what will be the point of that? So the 13th Sunday, join us for the main event final table. My thanks to Joe Stapleton and to all of our guests today. But for now, from me, James Hartigan, and the entire team here at the PCA, it's good night from the Bahamas.